So the next part, who is at risk for HPV infection? So nearly all sexually active people are at risk of being infected with this HPV virus, human papilloma virus. So whoever is sexually active or whoever has had sex before is at risk for getting infected with this HPV virus. Individuals at higher risk for HPV infection include those with previous HPV infection or exposure, to smoking habits. Basically, those who smoke more have a lower immunity, hence are at more risk for HPV infection. Number 3, those who are sexually active at a younger age. Because if you're younger age and you're exposed, you will have a higher risk of getting HPV virus infection. Lastly, a weakened immune system caused by conditions such as HIV, taking the use of medications that lower the immune system, or undergoing organ transplant. So all these factors cause you to have a lower immunity, hence you are at higher risk of getting this HPV infection. So what are the signs and symptoms of HPV infection? So unfortunately, there are no obvious signs and symptoms in the early stages of the human papilloma virus infection. Persistent and chronic HPV infection at the cervix can lead to abnormal changes in the cervix over the years, which can only be detected through cervical cancer screening such as a pap smear. And can HPV infection be treated? There is no specific treatment for HPV itself, right? Ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong. There are no specific treatment for the virus itself. In most cases, the body's immune system can clear the HPV infection within about 1 or 2 years. Alright, so if you see this diagram below, so from the initial HPV infection, it will take about 0 to 1 years, and it will go into continuing infection where it becomes something called CIN1. CIN1 is cervical intraepithelial lesion or neoplasia. What that means is that this is precancerous. Means this is cervical cancer. CIN is a precancerous form of cervical cancer. Means it hasn't gone to cancer yet, but it's on the way to becoming cancer. So you see, initial HPV infection, if the immune system doesn't clear it, it'll go up to CIN1. From CIN1, it can still clear on its own, right? So initial HPV infection, CIN1, it can still clear on its own. However, if this is left untreated or the HPV infection persists and it doesn't get cleared by the body, what happens? It goes from CIN1 after 0 to 5 years up to CIN2 to 3. Basically, what it means is that from a precancerous lesion of CIN1, it becomes precancerous lesion CIN2 and 3. And finally, if left untreated, if this precancerous lesion is untreated, it goes and becomes into cervical cancer. Okay, so we'll talk more a little bit about HPV and cervical cancer later on. Right, so hope you guys enjoyed and learned a lot about the signs and symptoms, who are at risk, and can HPV infection be treated. The next step, we're going to learn about HPV and cervical cancer.